Hey guys, today we're going to learn how to make bone broth. Now you all know how much I love my bone broth. It's amazing for your health and well-being, good for digestion, good for energy. The cultures have been doing this for hundreds of years, so they know obviously the importance of it. So let's keep the tradition going along. There's so many different ways you can make bone broth. I'm going to show you a chicken broth today. It's very simple, and I actually use the metabolic typing system as well. Understanding what vegetables work for you is very, very important. So here we go. Alright, so obviously the first thing we need is chicken bones. Now before we do that, understanding what meat to get is one of the most important parts of cooking and health and well-being. We always want to make sure the animal is healthy. Otherwise, we're eating a sick animal. So when it comes to chickens, free-range chickens, they need to be living a stress-free life. So if they're tucked up in a cage somewhere, they're obviously not in a good state of health and they're quite stressed out. Plus, they need to be eating their natural diet. Most places feed them corn and soy and all these other genetically modified ingredients that actually can make them sick. So a good free-range chicken is the best thing, and that's what we're after. What I do is actually buy the chicken whole, cook it up and eat it. One chicken can obviously serve a whole family, or what I do is pull it apart and use it as leftovers for another meal or snacks throughout the week as well. So we've got the free-range chicken, keep all the bones, and we're ready to rock. Alright, now the next thing we need to talk about is the water we're going to use in our broth. We don't want to use tap water. In fact, usually when we drink we don't want to use tap water either, because it's full of fluoride, chlorine, a whole lot of other chemicals that actually can clog up our body. So either buying a purified water is important, or just getting a filter. Go to my website and visit my shop and you'll see some awesome filters there from Aquasana. So there we go. That's what we want to do, is put the water in a big pot. And we're going to add the chicken bones to the water. Now the chicken bones, or the water I should say, should sit roughly an inch above the chicken bones. So we'll just throw them in there. Okay, so we've got the chicken bones in our purified water. What we need to add is half a cup of wine. Now obviously organic wine is the best way to go. We do cook the alcohol out of it, so don't worry. And the reason why we use the alcohol is because it draws all the calcium or the goodness out of the bones. So you can also use apple cider vinegar if you like. That's a bit of a personal preference. I find that apple cider vinegar can make it taste a bit funny. This doesn't do too bad a job. So we'll just add that in. We're actually going to get the fire up, the gas stove. I'm going to get that going. Now, very important, we don't ever want to boil our broth. Never ever. It makes it go sour and it almost ruins your broth. So what we're going to do is bring the water up to a point where it's simmering. And that's going to sit for about 2.5 to 3 hours. That's a good thing about chicken stock. It's a bit shorter in length in terms of the cooking time. So there we go. All right, so about an hour into it, and as you can see, a bit of scum forming on the outer side. So what you can do is you can just scoop all that off and just throw it away. But we don't want to boil it, as I said before, so just a nice simmer is good. We're going to get, I think we've got about another hour and a half to go, so I'll check back in then. Alright, so 2.5 hours is roughly gone by now. Chicken stock looking pretty good. Now remember, you can go longer if you want to, but 2.5 hours is enough. So what we want to do is just get rid of the carcass. I just scoop the main bits out first of all. You know if you've done it right, because the chicken literally just falls apart in your hands. So I'm just going to see if we can get a bit out. I just get a bag and I just throw it all into there. To get rid of the main bits. Oh look, there's the neck. Look at that, beautiful. The bones are almost, well, you know when you've done it right too, when the bones almost just completely disintegrate as well, they fall apart. The rest of it I'm actually going to sieve now. We're going to... Alright, so we've taken all the bones out, we've put them aside, now it's time to put the veggies in. By the way, I've just used another bowl, makes it a lot easier, or another pot I should say. So that's back on the heat, and now let's just put all of our veggies in. Careful not to splash it all over the place. Someone's got to clean it up. Okay. I use fennel, and I always keep the top bits on as well. Some nutritious stuff in there also. throw all that in. I'm going to keep all of these herbal stuff until a little bit later on, because this is going to go on for another hour or so, 50 minutes to an hour. But the last 20 minutes, I'm going to throw in the herbs at the end as well. Now, I've used some celery, carrot, fennel, onion, and a couple of other little things there, such as garlic and ginger. I love them. They all taste really good, but they work really well with me and my metabolic type. I'm a parasympathetic dominant. If you don't know what metabolic typing is, go to my website and check out the videos on there. One of the best things I highly recommend you guys do. And we can therefore transfer it into all of our cooking as well. So we'll touch base in about another 40 minutes or so, where we're going to add in the rest of the herbs as well. Alright, so while that's just cooking in the background, I'm just going to talk to you guys about why would we have bone broth in the first place. Well, many cultures around the world actually use this as a stable diet, especially those cultures who didn't have access for dairy, for example. They needed the calcium and a lot of other bacteria and trace elements that they couldn't get. So basically, bone broth provides us with easily absorbable trace minerals. It's one of the most important things we need. All those broken down bones that we have after a long time of simmering, the bones, the tendons and the cartilage provide us with glucosamine, which we all know is good for our joints, calcium, potassium and even magnesium, as well as many, many other trace minerals. Very, very good for us. Another good thing that is provided within our bone broth is gelatin. Some of you may have heard of this before, but gelatin is really good for all of our connective tissue, or just tissue in the body. Things such as our skin, people who are worried about cellulite and things like that, is very, very good for that. What else is there? There's the digestive tract as well. Muscle, for example, even our heart muscle, it's really good for that too. And also our bones. But one of the great things about bone broth is the fact that it can help heal our intestinal tract or intestinal wall. And most people these days do have problems within their tummy. So bone broth used on a daily basis can actually aid with the repair of that intestinal inflammation and damage, which is really, really good for us. Another fantastic thing about bone broth is its ability to help detoxify the body. All those amino acids and all the glycine which is in there is great for assisting your liver with the detoxification process. So there's so many amazing reasons why we would have bone broth. Of course, everybody is different. What you put into your bone broth is going to be different as well. So just try a couple of different things and see what works best for you. So as I say, a cup of bone broth a day will keep the doctor away. Enjoy. Okay, so it's been roughly 40 so minutes since we've taken the bones out and put the vegetables in. I'm just going to throw the rest of the herbs in now. So I've got some garlic, some ginger, there's some peppers in there as well. It's all going in. Some bay leaves, the whole lot. Now unfortunately don't have any fresh turmeric. So I'm just going to use one of these ones just for now. Nothing beats the fresh stuff, but just a little bit. This does make it go a little bit yellow. But turmeric's one of the best foods you can have. Very, very good for you. And don't forget some natural sea salt too. Very important. This adds to the taste. Now you need to, as you go along, and once we pour it into our jars, you can taste test, and you can actually add more salt in if you want to. Salt, natural sea salt, is very good for us. Not table salt. Very important. You understand that. Let's get that in. Alright, we're at the end now. What we're going to do is just get the veggies out, but we don't want to throw them away. I like to actually have a veggie soup. So this is good in winter months, you actually have a soup. So I just get a bowl, I'll strain out some of the bigger veggies, pop it into a bowl there. And what we'll do is we're actually going to sieve the rest as well. And we just set it aside and have a nice, beautiful veggie stock soup. So I just got rid of some. What we're going to do, we're going to take it over to the sink, and we're just going to strain the rest. So come with me. Alright, so now that all the veggies and bones, everything's out of it, now we get to fill up our nice little jars. So, without spilling any, in we go. Steady hands. See how it's got that nice yellow tinge to it? Thanks for the turmeric. And we'll just keep filling them up. Store them in the fridge. If you want to freeze them, don't fill them up so much because they will expand. And they're great to have first thing in the morning. Check out the other video. We did some quinoa and how to cook quinoa using the broth. You can also saute veggies in it as well. So it's an amazing thing to have. Good for energy, good for digestion. So get to it. Start making some every single week. I promise you'll start feeling really, really good. See you guys very soon.